This news update is brought to you by...
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connected to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
Good morning and welcome to the Barbados Today News Update for Thursday, November 5th. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. As ANSA McAL awaits the hearing of its court injunction, which has effectively stopped the sale of Banks Holding Limited, company executives are reiterating calls for the BHL board to step down. President and CEO of ANSA McAL Barbados, Nicholas Mote, maintains that BHL directors did not act in the best interest of shareholders when it agreed to a controversial clause in the 2010 loan agreement with St. Lucia Beverages Limited. The clause gave SLU the upper hand in the takeover bid. Mote maintains the directors failed in their duties to shareholders.
It is my view that they acted inappropriately and that the shareholders, not ANSA McAL, the bidder, ANSA McAL, the shareholder, and all the other shareholders should be asking for that because their actions have been totally inappropriate.
But the BHL legal counsel, Barry Cahill, insists there is no justification for the call.
I think it would be wholly irresponsible for the board of directors or any of the directors to resign as called for by ANSA McAL in the context where an active takeover bid exists and a committee of the board, independent committee of the board, is actually handling that process. So I think it would be totally irresponsible and in breach of actually their duties to the company, as well as its shareholders, for them to resign, leaving apart the fact that the directors believe that they acted quite responsibly with the benefit of legal, financial, and professional advice in entering into that agreement in the first place, which, as the acting chairman, Mr. DeCaries, has indicated, has resounded tremendously to the benefit of the company and its shareholders in the way that he's described.
Opposition Senator Wilfred Abrahams is questioning the sincerity of Prime Minister Ferndale Stewart's promise on the Cahill waste-to-energy project. Addressing the Senate yesterday, Abrahams reminded the Barbadians of the Prime Minister's vow at a meeting of the Democratic Labour Party's St. James South constituency in September that nothing will be done by stealth or under the cover of night when it comes to the project. Senator Abrahams was speaking on a government resolution seeking to compulsory acquire land at Volcus St. Thomas for the Sanitation Service Authority's Green Energy Program. He said despite the Prime Minister's assurances, there is need for full disclosure.
What agreements have been signed in the name of the people of Barbados?
Read the letter, you'll see.
How many agreements have been signed by the government of Barbados in relation to this Cahill matter? What has the government of Barbados bound us to? We talk about misleading. Now let's talk about Cahill clean. I would happily sit down now, man, and give anybody else 5 minutes of my time to clear up the back so I can then resume the constructive debate with all the facts. What is the government afraid of, ma'am?
Read one letter.
We, the people of Barbados, need to know.
Police investigators are hoping to bring closure on the death of Jahan King by month end. The 6-year-old died nearly 5 months ago at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital under questionable circumstances. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police responsible for crime management and investigations, Livingston Eversley, tells Barbados Today investigations are ongoing into his death and he's hoping that a conclusion can be reached sometime this month. Jahan passed away on June 29 at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after being taken there by ambulance. Police later questioned his mother, LaSonta Gill, and her boyfriend, Dwayne Marshall, in connection with his death, but they were later released. Motorists have been urged to follow road safety laws, especially as the festive Independence and Christmas seasons approaches. The The call from Assistant Superintendent Roland Stanford at the launch of the Junior Road Rangers scheme yesterday. ASP Stanford said, to date, there have been 6 road fatalities over the past 2 weeks and 20 so far for the year compared to last year's total of 14. And he's suggesting that speeding and drunk driving may be contributing to those road fatalities. To the big news in sports now, the independent review panel of the CARICOM subcommittee on cricket governance is recommending that the West Indies Cricket Board be disbanded and an interim committee installed to run the affairs of cricket in the region. The panel, chaired by principal of the Cahill campus of the University of the West Indies, Professor Eugene Barito, also maintained that the difficult decision to modernize the WICB's governance arrangements must be taken without further delay if regional cricket is to realize its true potential as a dynamic and financially lucrative service export sector.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to our regional neighbors, we head to St. Lucia, where officials, including the leader of the parliamentary opposition, Dr. Gail Rigobert, are expressing concerns over the increase in recorded sexual offenses in the country.
We have learned of so many alleged sexual offenses that raises the question whether would-be sexual offenders feel that they have an open field to do as they wish and with no fear of being caught, being tried, charged, and imprisoned. And the extent to which there are so many interrelated issues which perhaps leads a would-be perpetrator of a sexual offense to believe that he is likely to walk free tells me that we need now urgently to address this in a multi-pronged fashion.
Within the past 2 weeks, police have launched investigations into 3 separate incidents of alleged rape. The Gender Relations Minister, Alvina Reynolds, has responded to the alarming stats and is calling for discussion in Parliament to review legislation to allow personal safety weapons for women and vulnerable groups.
That report from HTS News. And on the international scene, at least 16 people have been killed in a Pakistani city after a factory under construction collapsed. Emergency services are worried that as many as 150 workers could be trapped under the rubble. A major rescue operation is now on the way. The rest of the details in this BBC report.
Well, the numbers are changing quite quickly on this story, Karen, as you might think. We are hearing that more people are reported to have died now, between 16 and 18, and also more have been pulled out of the rubble. We're being told from people on the scene that dozens of people, more than 70, we're told have been taken to 3 main hospitals in Lahore, but dozens of others, as you were saying, between 150 and 200 are feared still trapped under the rubble. Cries for help could be heard from under the debris as rescue workers try to pull people from there. Until an hour ago, we were hearing that heavy machinery was being used to clear the rubble so people can come out. Rescue workers have told us that this has made their job a lot more difficult because they feared that this could actually injure or kill people already trapped. So what we're hearing now is that they're trying to pull people and trying to clear the rubble manually.
And that's our morning update. But for the latest, join us again this afternoon. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on iZoomi Media, bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Good morning.